In 1925, Nome, Alaska had an outbreak of diphtheria. Since planes and boats couldn't make it to Nome, a chain of dogsled teams was set up to rush the cure from Nome, Alaska to Nome before the outbreak got out of control. You play as a musher of a dogsled that has 9 dogs that have different abilities: strength, agility, intelligence, and speed. There are multiple trails that can be used, some over mountains, through trees, with ice, or on open terrain. You're given a set of 30 vials to protect and bring to Nome, Alaska, choosing the path that best aligns with your dog's abilities. I described Saving Nome 1925 as a semi-cooperative game. Each player, this currently plays 2 to 4 but could be up to 6 in the future, runs their own race from Nome over to Nome based on their own individual dog sleds. But the players collectively use the vials on the dog sled that takes the longest amount of time, so players should work together and coordinate to improve the time of the slowest dog sled. Each route has a primary skill necessary and a distance. Red being strength to travel over the hills, green needing agility to avoid the trees, blue needing intelligence to navigate the thin ice, or yellow for open terrain just to get speed to travel it quickly. The arrangement of your dog sled team determines how effective your team was for overcoming the obstacles of your chosen path. There are 4 sections of the dog sled team. 4 points come from the lead, 4 points come from the 2 swing dogs, 4 points come from the 4 team dogs, and 4 points come from the wheel dogs. Each dog can provide different ability skill points based on where it's located in the team. For this dog here, it would generate 4 intelligence points if it was the lead dog, 2 agility points if it was in the swing dogs, only 1 strength point if it was in one of the team dogs, and 2 speed points if it was part of the wheel. Each turn, the player decides which route to go. They could go down the yellow route with a difficulty of 5. They will then total up the number of yellow skill points their team has. None for the lead, none for the swing, 1 from the team, and none from the wheel. They would then take them 4 hours to complete this route. Alternatively, they could have also taken this blue route with a difficulty of 9. Summing up the number of intelligence skill points they have 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Some dogs also give dice instead of just raw skill points. The player would then roll these dice. Anything with a 5 or a 6 also counts as a success. This player has now achieved 9 intelligence points across this route and completes it in only 1 hour. Since they met the objective, they also get a bonus token that they can use later. If a player rolls 2 1s, that is a risky maneuver and ends up breaking a vial. The goal obviously to be to arrive in Nome, Alaska with enough vials to treat the number of active diphtheria cases. Whenever a player arrives in one of the black cities, 7 of them across the route, they're allowed to switch some of their dogs. In this situation, the player might want to switch these 2 dogs, giving them some more agility in their swing dogs, and some dice to use in the team dogs. This way, it then prepares them to take this blue and then green route for the next one. The best way to complete this is to rearrange your dogs at the opportune points in order to prepare yourself for the next 2 or 3 paths in order to complete this, earning tokens and completing the overall trip in the least amount of time. This is where the semi-cooperative aspect comes in. These tokens can be played to make the paths easier for you and your other players. Primarily in the second half of the race, the players that are currently faster can prep the path for the other players and drop their tokens to make it less difficult for them. Players can then choose the paths in order to optimize their overall goals. The game ends when all the dogs have reached Nome, Alaska. The player that took the longest amount of time to reach is the one that is used for scoring for the entire group. Compare the number of vials that dog had, in this case it arrived with 30, to the number of cases that were currently in Nome, Alaska in that time, 28. In this situation, the team overall has completed the objective by getting enough vials to save the town of Nome, Alaska from diphtheria. There is also the alternative competitive version for players who are familiar with the game. Each team starts with a team of 9 dogs. The race travels instead from Iditarod up to Nome, Alaska, just like the Iditarod race. Instead of one side of the dice breaking a vial, instead it represents an injured dog that can't race anymore, and the players will complete the race with fewer dogs than the 9. Similarly with the tokens, it makes it easier for you, but also easier for your opponents in a catch-up mechanic, and so the goal is just to complete the race in the shortest amount of time possible. Thank you so much for watching my video on Saving Nome, Alaska 1925. I really like this game blends strategy versus tactics with how you arrange your dog versus the path you take, a little bit of randomness in the dice that you choose to take, and the semi-cooperative nature brings a unique twist to a historical game.